Taking a live look outside at the beautiful alpenglow on Peak 1. This shot courtesy of our man in the mountains, Matt Renew. Absolutely gorgeous. Thanks for starting your day with us. I'm Corey Rose.
And I'm Drew Carney. Katie LaSalle standing by with a look at today's weather forecast. What do you have for us, Katie?
Good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday. It's quieter to kick off of this Thursday morning. More sunshine over the metro area as it comes up. Some beautiful snow-capped Rocky Mountains as we start the morning. It is cool. Stepping out the door, only around 40 degrees for downtown to Central Park and into the mountains, 20s and 30s. So you definitely want to have the jacket on to start. Later on today, not quite as cool as what we've seen over the past several afternoons. It's been rounds of wet weather that we've experienced all week long. Today we still have scattered storms and showers in the forecast, mainly east of the metro area, but they'll be widely scattered across portions of the plains through the course of today and tonight. Some wet weather. The weekend really just warms back up. So radar picture this morning, a little cloud coverage over northern Colorado near Fort Collins at 42 degrees, 20s and 30s, a pretty start to the morning in the mountains, and your planner, a mix of sun and clouds. Should be dry for the first half of the day. If you're heading out to Denver International Airport, temperatures will be in the low 60s, winds calm. Now for later on this afternoon, after about 3 p.m., building cloud coverage, temperatures in the upper 60s for highs. We have scattered storms later on, and risk of severe weather for Denver and West will be low, but we'll be watching out across the plains near Ray, Lyman, Burlington, eastern Colorado. We do have the risk for strong to even severe warned storms. They'll be few and far between, but the biggest threat will be hail and pockets of heavy rain. So most of the moisture for today out east, but into the mountains, our northern Front Range high country. And then here for the Denver area through about 7 o'clock, we'll see those storm chances. And then across the eastern plains through this evening, we'll gradually clear back out. So dry conditions once again Friday. Still a little unsettled, Brianna, to wrap up the week before that weekend weather arrives. And we're looking at 80s for Sunday and Monday.
Katie, thank you so much. Happy Thursday, everyone. 6:02 is your time. A live look right now of 6th Avenue near Sheridan Boulevard. No issues to report if you're heading eastbound this morning, so maybe heading into I-25 or on the other side of 6th Avenue, heading maybe down Kipling into Wadsworth as well as I-70. I do want to switch things over to our main maps and talk about your drive time. So we have no crashes to report. We do have some emergency road work that's happening near I-70 in the Beaver Brook area, and that's because of a pothole that showed up earlier this morning. I know crews are out there. They're repairing it, so please just slower those speeds if you're heading down westbound I-70. That right lane is partially blocked. Now, we're not seeing any bumper-to-bumper traffic just yet. We still have the green light, especially if you're taking 270 from I-70 heading into I-25, only about 6 minutes this morning. And then this is the emergency road work that's happening, again, along westbound I-70. For anyone taking County Road 65, again, the right lane is partially blocked.
We have another traffic note here, Brianna. Colorado State Patrol sharing some new information about a wrong-way crash, head-on crash, that happened yesterday morning along I-25 in Castle Rock. State troopers say a pickup was driving the wrong way in the left southbound lane, hit the median, bounced off, and veered into the right lane. A man from Wyoming was driving the truck. He was taken to the hospital with serious injuries. Meanwhile, a man from Aurora was driving that car that got hit head-on, but he was not hurt.
The town of Hudson up in Weld County is waiving all tickets issued by a controversial speed camera. It's a story Steve on your side has followed closely. The town put the camera up in the northbound lanes of County Road 49 without providing notice to the public and without running the required warning period. Last night, the town council decided none of the tickets should be paid, and drivers who already have will be refunded. More than 31,000 tickets came from that camera, totaling more than $1.2 million.
Governor Jared Polis is being punished by his fellow Democrats.
Last night, Colorado Democratic Party's Central Committee overwhelmingly voted to formally condemn and censure Polis for granting clemency to Tina Peters. 90% of the party's state Central Committee, which has hundreds of members, voted to reprimand him. The measure condemns Polis and says he has harmed efforts to defend democratic institutions and election integrity. The party is banning Polis from speaking at or being honored at upcoming party events. Now, the measure came together after hundreds of party leaders and organizers signed a petition calling for action against Polis, who gave clemency to President Trump's ally, who broke into Mesa County's voting system in an unsuccessful search for election rigging.
Governor Polis gave in to America's biggest bully, and giving in to bullies never works, plain and simple. I have a 9-year-old son, and he knows that.
I come here from Mesa County, and this was personal.
I'm really proud to be a Democrat right now if this is how we're going to react when someone in power in our party behaves the way he just did. I'm here for it.
His decision to free Peters has also been condemned by some Republicans on the Western Slope who say Peters humiliated their community. The Trump administration has suggested Peters may now also get a taxpayer-funded payout.
Mayor Mike Johnston is touting a nearly 13% drop in overall homelessness here in Denver. The mayor's office says it's the first year-to-year reduction in 9 years. Since Johnston was elected in 2023, his office says street homelessness has decreased by 64%. The latest numbers come from this year's point-in-time count, which counted the number of people experiencing homelessness on one night back in January. Since Johnston took over as mayor, the city has spent more than $200 million to move people indoors. At a news conference yesterday, Mayor Johnston said federal cuts have made it challenging to get people into permanent housing.
I think the biggest challenge for us that we're seeing from federal cuts are a reduction in the total number of housing vouchers we can use to get people up and out into permanent housing. And so there have been hundreds of vouchers we've lost over the course of the last couple of years.
Mayor Johnston also says the city is aiming for a 75% reduction in street homelessness by next year. That new report, by the way, also found that homelessness across the entire metro area dropped by about 1% from a year ago. Denver, meanwhile, preparing to turn part of downtown into a walkable street festival style destination. The first major piece of the planned 5280 trail is coming soon to Acoma Street. Or should we say
Acoma. Courtney's going to get into the details in a second. Courtney, you're joining us live from the Golden Triangle neighborhood now with more. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Corey and Drew. So this section of Acoma Street may not be what you think of as a trail in Colorado, but take a look at it now because it's about to look very different in the next year or two. The idea behind the 5280 trail is to create a network of greener streets that connects neighborhoods and landmarks around the city. So here's what the Acoma Street section is going to look like. The trail will be on 2 blocks of Acoma Street from 10th up to 12th Avenue, and that's where the Denver Art Museum is located, and it's meant to be a kind of pedestrian green space. There will also be spaces along the trail for food trucks, activities, and sitting areas. Project managers from Denver's Department of Transportation and Infrastructure say, imagine areas to play cornhole or relax with friends. They're also considering having a common consumption area or 2 so you can have a beer on the trail as well. So Acoma will still remain a shared street with vehicles, but they will be able to block off the road for festivals and events. Senior project manager Greg Ciesick says they're aiming for a park-like setting.
We'll have that flexibility to create, I think this space that can be used in different ways and can be activated. We have, partners like Curious Theater down there that, they're super excited about it because they can actually kind of spill out into the space in front of their business and utilize that for an event.
And there is a community meeting tonight here at the Evans School Auditorium. That's behind me here. You also might know it as the Schoolyard Beer Garden. That's starting at 5 o'clock. Project managers will be there answering questions, and they'll also share those final design concepts. Construction, they're hoping to begin that sometime in September, and they hope to have it all completed by the end of 2027. Live in Denver, Courtney Yoon, 9 News.
Courtney, I think I live about 10 minutes from the station over at 4th and Acoma. Until this morning, I was calling it Acoma, like I think everyone else that watches our news. It's going to be tough. Can you explain again why we're now calling it Acoma versus Acoma?
Yes, so the city of Denver, they always do a land acknowledgement before their community meetings, and Acoma, as we know it, is actually Acoma, and that's named after an ancient Native American pueblo that is located in western New Mexico. So a fun little fact for you guys.
It's going to take some time to get used to that one for sure. Courtney, thank you. A new law in Colorado meant to help struggling rural pharmacies is now creating confusion over which insurance plans are actually covered. And that's leaving some pharmacists worried the financial relief they expected may never fully arrive. Lucas Smith owns pharmacies in Buena Vista and Salida. He says many rural locations already operate on razor-thin margins. Smith says pharmacy benefit managers, the middlemen that help determine prescription reimbursements, often pay pharmacies little or nothing beyond the cost of the medication itself. A new law in Colorado was supposed to help by requiring minimum dispensing fees for these rural pharmacies. But Smith says many pharmacy benefit managers are interpreting the law to exclude self-funded employer health plans, which make up a significant portion of the market. The Colorado Division of Insurance says the law only applies to plans the agency regulates and not most employer-sponsored plans.
This bill provided a lot of hope, and that hope is dwindling every day it passes.
State Representative Ty Winter says lawmakers are continuing discussions with DORA, the governor's office, and pharmacies to ensure the law works as intended.
Your time is 6:09 on this Thursday morning. Sun is coming up, 41 degrees, winds calm in Denver later on today. Temperatures from the upper 30s and 40s will be milder. High 60s set to return here across the Front Range and Eastern Plains, building cloud coverage, but we do have storms once again in the forecast, especially across the Eastern Plains. We'll break down where we're expecting to see some of those stronger cells right after the break. Our water forecast on the low side, but across the plains, some much needed precipitation that we'll be tracking for later on. Details after the break.